Alright, in this session and in this class, you're going to learn another concept of support and resistance. And this is going to be the part 3 of support and resistance. My name is Anya Somodabuchi. I am going to be your coach in this session. So get your writing materials ready. Let's get to business. And don't forget, always remember this. I am a student, always. Do not compare yourself with anyone else's progress. Always keep a winning mind frame and you will do very well in this business. So upon finishing this lesson, you should know the answers to the following question. What is support and resistance? So this video is going to really help you to know the exact ways to draw or map out your support and resistance zones when you are doing analysis. So right about now, I want to do a top-down analysis on this concept. So let's go to the monthly time frame. In the monthly time frame, all right, each of these candles represent a particular month in the year 2025. For instance, this candle here is January, the next candle is February, the next candle is March, and so on and so forth. So how do you know a support and how do you know a resistance? Wherever price bounces, all right, now this is the monthly time frame. Wherever price bounces from is a support. That is to say, wherever price gets to before making a bullish move is a support. Wherever price gets to before making a bearish move is a resistance. You see that? This is support, resistance, support, resistance, support, and resistance. So what this simply means is very simple. Wherever price bounces to before a buy is that place becomes the support. So wherever price bounces on before making a bullish move, all right, is a support. And wherever price gets to before making a bearish move is the resistance. Saying to say, wherever price bounced on or gets to before reversing is the support, and wherever it gets to before going down is the resistance. Is that clear? So now let me use this chart to explain. Now sometimes young traders used to find it very difficult to identify support and resistance zones, and that is one of the purposes of this video, to help you know how to do it successfully. So right about here, this is right about now, this place you're seeing here is the monthly time frame resistance, the monthly time frame support. This was the last bearish bounce before a bullish move. This is the last bullish move before a bearish move. So this is the resistance. All right. So there are dynamic supports and resistances in these zones that you are not going to be able to spot until we go down to a lower time frame. So right now, this is the support, the resistance, then the resistance, and now we have another obvious support area, and then we have a resistance, we have a support, we have a resistance, we have a support, we have a resistance, we have a support, we have this is also a resistance and a support, but I don't want to go into that right now. I'm just mapping out the obvious levels of support and resistance, and then we have a resistance. Is that clear? And then this is actually a support. This zone is a support, but I don't want to complicate it so that you will understand what I mean. Now when we go down to a lower time frame, remember that I said that this is a monthly time frame and each of these candles represents 1 month. Okay, remember we have 20 trading days as the forex market operates 5 times in a week from Monday till Friday. All right, that is when the forex market operates. So that is how it is. Each of these candles represents 20 trading days, okay, in a month, because we don't include Saturdays and Sunday. All right, so Each of these candles represent 1 month. And then when we go to a weekly time frame, you begin to understand that every time frame has its own support and resistance. Remember that this arrow, all right, was actually what we use to identify our monthly support and resistance. But right now, if you look at the weekly time frame, you're going to see that we now have multiple areas of support and resistance. For instance, this is a resistance, that's a support, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance. This is just to show you support and resistance on a weekly time frame. Are you seeing how it works? So, but now on a monthly time frame, we just have identifiable areas of support and resistance. Now, this is to tell you that every time frame you find yourself has a story. All right, every time frame has a story. It means that every time frame has its own support and resistance zone. Okay, so most of the times we traders, we go to a higher time frame to know stronger areas of support and resistance. Okay, it helps us to know the entire directional bias of the market structure or the trend of the market. So right now we have, this is also a support on the weekly, that's a resistance, and this is a support. Okay, and then this is a resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance. So you can see multiple support and resistance on the weekly time frame. Now when you go to the daily time frame, what that also make you understand is that the daily time frame will still show you more areas, okay, of support and resistance. For instance, we have the support here, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance, support. So that is just how it is. Now when we still narrow this down to the 4-hour time frame, you will still see that the 4-hour chart has its own areas of support and resistance zones. Now this is to tell you that as a trader, you should not confuse yourself with trying to know which support is important or which resistance is important. All right, what you need to do as a trader is to know the directional bias of the higher time frame. Okay, is to know the directional bias of the higher time frame. That way you can be able to know the direction of the entire trend, starting from the lowest time frame, which is the 1 minute time frame, till the weekly time frame. Do you understand? So that is why it is very important that you switch to higher time frames to be able to identify those areas. For instance, this is the 4 hours chart. We have our resistance here, we have a support here, we have a resistance here, we have a support here, we have a resistance here. Wherever price gets to before bouncing off, that is like, for instance, when price gets to a low and starts to buy, that low becomes a support. When it gets to a high and starts to sell, that high becomes a resistance. All right, so you can also have other areas here internally, which when you go to a lower time frame, it becomes clearer. Are you getting it? Or it becomes clear. You see that? Support, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance. Very simple. So if we go to 1 hour time frame, you are going to still see the same thing. You notice that 1 hour time frame has its own dynamic, its own dynamic areas of support and resistance. So now, like I said in the previous video, a stronger support is known when it breaks a resistance. For instance, let's say this support is known as a strong support. Why? Because it broke this resistance. That is how you know a valid support. It is this kind of support and resistance that determines the continuation of a trend or reversal point whenever they break. Okay, for instance, let me clear everything here. If, for instance, we have this, we have price coming down like this. We have price coming down like this. All right, and I see something like this. I will not call this a major break of resistance. I will not identify it as a major break of resistance. I will not identify this break as a major break of resistance. The reason is because this low, this resistance here did not break this support. So I will only know that market wants to just go and take out inducement and maybe come back again. Maybe price might decide to do something like this, take out inducement and continue to drop. Do you understand? So what am I going to do? I will not call it a change of trend yet until I notice that this resistance takes a support and then support moves to take that resistance. This is now the time I will now call this what? A reversal point, or a change of trend, or a change of character. All right, as the case may be. Then all I need to do is to wait for a pullback before taking a buy. Same thing in a bullish trend. When the market is trending, all right, when the market is trending and then price comes and breaks what? A major or a valid support zone. All right, once price breaks this valid support zone, that is when I will now be able to know that price price wants to reverse. You understand? Yes. So please, this is something you need to always look out for whenever you're taking a trade or whenever you are carrying out an analysis in the market. Let me show you with the chart. Did you see that on the chart? Let me show you something very quickly on the chart. Now look at what happened here on this chart. If you look at this place, you would see that price did not break this low. Are you seeing it now? So you will not consider this a reversal. You will not consider this a change of trend. Remember, we are having what? A series of downtrend. See what is going on here? We are having series or different levels of a downtrending market. See that? As long as price keeps breaking support, it what indicates a continuation of a downtrend. You see that? You see? And then this high did not break this low. So when price broke this high, I will not consider it a change of trend. Instead, I will know that price wants to what? Grab inducement and continue the downtrend like it did here. You understand? Finally came and broke this support. You see that? Now when price broke that support, what happened here is that it's very simple. Price continued to do what? Price continued to print what? Support and resistance. This is what we call internal support and resistance, or dynamic support and resistance. You see that? Why? Because it is telling you that price will still continue to drop as long as we keep breaking support. All right, as long as we keep breaking support, price will still continue. Price will definitely continue to come down, and then we have this and this. You see that? That was where this uptrend started. All right, but from a higher perspective, this is just a retracement. But from a lower time frame, this is what? A reversal. You see, the reason most of you may not understand everything that I'm saying in this video, that is why you need to enroll for the training, so that you understand the psychology behind top-down market structure and how the lower time frame correlates to play out the desire or the overall directional bias of the higher time frame. Do you understand? So, but with this knowledge alone, you'll be able to know when a reversal wants to take place. A reversal can only happen when price breaks what? A strong level of resistance. Okay, this is when I will now know that okay, we have shifted from what? A downtrend to what? An uptrend market. So in a lower time frame like the 1 hour, this we consider an uptrend, but in a higher time frame, this is still a retracement. All right, so this is just all I have to say about support and resistance. So I'm going to be doing the part 4 of this video. All right, so stick around, don't go anywhere. Okay, go back and watch this video again so that you understand what I am saying. At least you now know a support and a resistance. All right, so if you don't understand it, you can still go back and watch this video again. I said the only way to spot a support and a resistance is wherever price bounced before buying or bounced before selling is a resistance, or whichever point price gets to before buying or any point price gets to before selling. Do you understand? So if look at it, watch now, this is price got to this point here before it bought. So this low is the support, and it got to this point before it started dropping. So this high is the resistance. When it got to this point again, all right, this was the point it got to before it started going for a buy. This low here becomes the support, and price went to this point and started to sell. This high here becomes the resistance. Is that clear? That is just how it is. That is just how it is. All right, so this is applicable in all time frame, even in the 1 minute time frame, as long as you're seeing the obvious levels price is bouncing off from. All right, you can identify those levels. All right, okay, either as a support or as a resistance. Are you seeing it now? Okay, that is just how it is. So this video will definitely help you to know how to identify support and resistance. Okay, so most traders have just little knowledge about support and resistance, and that is why they don't know a support that has the capacity to change a trend and a resistance that has the capacity to change the trend, because they don't understand the correlation between liquidity in line with support and resistance and supply and demand. All right, so the next video I'm going to also give you more insight on how to understand support and resistance. Remember, this is not a strategy to trade. This is just me breaking down the market, all right, in different levels where you can understand them properly. My name is Anya Somadabuchi, and we're going to end this video here. Get ready to watch the part 4 of this video. All right, and in case you don't understand anything in this video, please do well to go back and watch this video again until you understand everything, and then go back to your chart, your trading view chart, and see how many support and resistance you can identify, and start to identify those support and resistance areas. That way it means that the information you have gathered from this video, you have applied it. All right, thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.